Welcome. Welcome to day 104 of 200 days of code. And as you can already see on the screen, a lot of progress has been made, but I'm not worthy of explaining this progress. However, the person who is worthy of it is here with us. It's Leon Andersen. Leon, how are you doing?
Hello, hello. Yeah, let's look at it. So today I got a little bit of styling. As you can see, not that much. I guess the closest to where I want to go is if I go onto this page where the color scheme is yeah, the closest. But yeah, I am already happy with how the colors turn out in the navbar. Really looking forward to setting all of that up. I'm curious though what one can do about this nasty white scroll on the side. Um, Maybe I find some solution to that. Maybe one can even make the scroll bar disappear. I don't know. Um, and yeah, I also created the subscribe form for on the post pages, and I also managed or made the subscribe button into the footer as well, so you really just cannot overlook it. For example, uh, if this is full of previews one day, full of blog posts, and you scroll and scroll, and you reach the bottom, which see it directly, that you can subscribe. On the placing and the styling is still not working, but I already tested that this works. We got results in the back end of MailChimp. I'm not going to click it now because it would show all my private emails. And yeah, I populated the about page a little bit more, did some markdown import, and I think this one I actually did like some paragraphs and stuff, and I will see how I will go about that. Maybe I'll convert this into an MDX page as well. I finally managed to get MDX working together with Remark and Gray Matter. So all of those at the same time. I will see if there will be any clashes, because Remark is also enabling some configurations of the markdown styling, and we will see if it will work smoothly. And yeah, I think that was a great success today with the subscribe API call finally working. I mean, I can do a little screen share. Oh yeah, I also set up these links, of course, because it's much better, in my opinion, to work with the actual contents, or with very realistic contents while styling. So I already made these links, so I can do some cool styling, some cool link styling there as well. Yeah, this is not going to stay purple. And yeah, I mean, let's look for a moment into the into VS Code. So, for anyone who has a footer fetish, this is for you today. Just kidding. Yeah, we see that I already did a little bit of styling, some tail and stuff. Um, I just had this open. From there, there's nothing, I guess, important to see here today. What did I actually want to show? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, basically the API path. I think yesterday we just announced it because it didn't work yet. So let's show it today. So the API is here. Subscribe API. This is the private. This is our own API server side. This is not a React component, and yeah, there's already handling in here, but not as much as I wanted to be on, and there is some stuff missing because if you even though if you have successfully subscribed, you have to manually close the form still, and there's no feedback actually unless you would look into the console, which is a bit user experience, but make it work, make it clean, make it fast, something like that was the motto as far as I know. So roughly making it work already is yeah, I consider those fine tunings to be part of the make it clean as well. Yeah, what we basically do is we are looking. I mean, maybe it makes sense to split it and do a look at the subscribe form. Oh. And yeah, as you can see, we import Axios because it's a better way to fetch, in my opinion, because with the normal fetch requests, we can only do that from client to server, not from server side to MailChimp. But Axios is actually able to do that. So that makes stuff easier. And there are some JSON translation that we don't have to do with Axios as well. So yeah, we basically collect the form, make sure that we have this is basically the meat we want. We want the email. It's our goal, and we're capturing it here basically. And here we are doing the post request to our own API. So this is basically, I mean, this is front end. This is, as you can see here, we're rendering some front end stuff here as well. So this is React. This is client side, and from client side, we are doing a post request, access a post to our own API, and we are posting the crop email, which we got here first. And then also, what I learned yesterday is that not only the post request, but we're also capturing the response, because a post request always automatically leads to a response. Can do the response data. We can show the response data in the console, and basically use that later to do some of the logic I already explained. The unsubscribe didn't really work as far as I remember. What's happening there, but at least not getting any errors. That's, I don't know if that's good or bad, but yeah. And from here, now we can go to here, to the API, so subscribe API. And here we're basically also doing a post request from here with our request.body email, which is this email. It's basically a different email than this, because this one is from the form and this one is from the request. Maybe it would be even better to call this one request email and this one form email. I don't know. I have no idea. So, or server side requests email and this one form request email. Anyway, here we're doing again post request to a route, just as we did here. In this case, the route is the string in the MailChimp API consisting of our audience ID, the data center, and we are basically parsing this through here. And then we're using the header as to authorize, and we do that with our API, which we get from process.env as the others, because we don't want this data to be first of all seen in the project directly, and also we don't want it to be accessed by the client side. But I don't know if that would actually be possible. But anyway, we are also one, or probably the main reason why we don't want to do the post request directly from the client side to MailChimp is because we don't want the client side to know our API keys, because then that could be abused if that's publicly in our client side code, which is publicly available in the browser. So this is the logic. Seems pretty simple now that it works, and now that yeah, I basically had a behind the scenes in-depth session with Elifnil, which was very, very, very helpful and enlightening about the yeah, thinking about client and server side, and also like we had some little drawings that were very helpful, with all the different points and the arrows of where data is flowing and what data is flowing. And yeah, now it seems pretty simple, and especially yeah, I'm really lucky that syntax basically it was actually the right one, because yesterday we had errors. We had a bad request error. That's what we ended on yesterday, I think, and stream on yesterday. And the solution was just that I had in here in the subscribe form, I had a basically a wrong path, which was client to API and not API to MailChimp. So the MailChimp side was already correct, as we figured out. And the issue here was that I thought, okay, subscribe form is in my components folder, and this route is not, like, from the point of view of the components router, the components folder, this route is not correct. So I did like dot, double dot and slash before that, I think 2 times even, to go from folder to the source folder. Yeah, I think I could have just done, I don't know how exactly what I had there exactly, but the thing is that yeah, exactly. I then had like pages API and then the subscribe API. So I had like slash pages before here and then double dot, something like that. And that is not necessary, as I found out, because Next.js, maybe even Node.js, I think it's Node.js, is the as soon as it's getting the message that there's any kind of post fetching going on, any kind of post request, it's already assuming that the route is going into the API folder, and it knows where the API folder is, so we don't have to describe the route from the folder of the file, of the component that we're at, but we have to the route from the API folder. And yeah, that fixed it, and it works now, and I'm very happy because I can do more. I can go into styling. I fixed, added some of the details to the foundation, and also got a little bit into flow with doing the commits. I had like 40 changes here, doing a proper push, proper branching, proper pushing, and then proper pull requesting, aka merge requesting on GitHub, and then pulling back the main branch, updating this project here locally. And yeah, that was some very nice magic happening there. And I'm looking forward to more styling because I already enjoyed the navbar color scheme a lot. Yeah, that's it, unless there's anything from your side to add.
No, you explained it well. I want to correct one thing. You made one slight mistake that I think is still incorrect in the understanding, maybe, or you just described it not correct. But the reason that /API/subscribe API works is not because of the folder, but because that is an actual API route. So when you run your Next.js project, you actually have localhost 3000 /API/subscribe API as a route on like a server running on your Next.js server. It's a serverless route, so it's a little confusing, but basically you're creating, as long as the Next.js runs, this route is also available under localhost 3000 /API/subscribe API. And when you do any API request, whether it's with fetch, with Axios, or with whatever, to any API, and you don't give it a host name, so something like example.com or something similar, then Next.js immediately knows, wait, here's a host name missing. So let me actually try and do the API request against one of my own routes that I might be having. And only if that also doesn't exist, then it will throw like a not found error, like, hey, I couldn't find the resource that you're looking for. Well, that's the only correction. Other than that, you nailed it. And I think it's really great progress. And I also love, like, it's hard to put together this MailChimp stuff, but you managed to do it. And that's a great success. And also people watching this stream, they now don't have to do all the research that you did to make this work.
Yeah, I'm happy about it. And but one question about the API route still. In this case, as far as I understand it, routes are also representative, or the folder structures or file structure here basically in this API folder is also representative of route because of the pages style routing, or is that like, could I have like subfolder in here and then still have just API subscribe API, or?
So first of all, I think the question was understandable, but it was very messy because something was rubbing on your microphone. But the general gist of it is the every file for Next.js that is inside of the API folder, which always has to be inside of the pages folder, will automatically be converted to an API in the sense that it's like a server API, right? Where it has to be a handle with a request and a response. And that's the distinction that Next.js makes. It's basically if there's anything exported as a default inside of the pages directory, then it assumes it's a page for your application. However, if that file that exports something is inside the API directory, or a subfolder of the API directory, then it tries to set that up as a handler, and the file paths are the respective path via the folders to your file name, either for the page or for the API route.
And how is that in Node.js? Probably different because we don't have the client side and server side. But I mean, we do have that with Express, maybe. I don't know. How is the routing, the API routing there again?
So Express that you used also in your course that you did to learn how to code, to learn the basics, you used Express. And Express does not have file-based routing such as Next.js or Remix. In Express, if you remember, you had to tell the explicit path as the first argument. So you would write something like app.get/campgrounds, and then you would pass in the handler like request, response, and what you want to do there.
And what would be a route for an API that I would set in like to set up the same as I do here now with Mailchimp? How would that look like with Node and Express?
Very similar. You would write, for example, app.post, and then the first argument you would say, if you want to have the same file part, the same route that you have here, you would also say /API/subscribe API, and then you would also put the Node.js handler with a request and a response. I think because you're using Axios, you would probably literally use the same code for your handler and it would work.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it does now that I got it working once. I mean, I will see how it will be in the future with the next times, but at least now it feels already simpler than all the stuff with Express. But interesting that the Axios route could still be the same. That's okay.
Yeah, I want to do one little exercise before we leave the stream right now live, basically. So first in the API folder, create a new file that you can call like my get handler or something like that. Exactly. And from that file, just say export default handler. and it takes in a request and a response. And we can just say response dot. So we need the brackets right for and the exactly the error function arrow and the curly brackets, and then say res dot status to 100. Identity, just ref dot status, and then the argument for that is 200. And then dot JSON, and then you just say, I don't know, message hello world or something like that in an object. Mars, okay. And now I want you to copy this code, all of this code, and create the same file in your regular pages directory and just paste the code in there.
In which file exactly?
So you just create a new file in the pages directory that you name also my get handler, and you paste the code in there. Yeah, that was even more efficient. Okay, so now let's start the app, stop the screen share, and share the app again, like the browser in the browser. And while we wait for that, I'm gonna play a little music, if we can find it. Maybe this? Oh yeah, that's good. We can wait and clap. Whoa, the app probably loads. I think what's erroring out is the it's already the my get handler in the pages directly. So let's delete that file again, and then I will reload and see what happens. Okay, the file has been deleted. Let's see what happens. You might need to restart the process too. I mean, npm on dev and kill that and rerun it. stay with us. We're about to solve this. The handle that we wrote, we said export default handle and then error function, and obviously that is impossible.
That's basically an error function.
Well, someone offered us to buy views. That's unethical. We shouldn't do that. No one should do that. Never buy views, because there's no use in teaching bots how to code, because they will take over humanity, and Altmaier is already doing that for us. It's compiling. We're about to see it. Yes. Okay, so we got it. So the issue was the route that we created in the pages directory. And now it has been 3 minutes or 4 minutes since we last saw it. So maybe you guys already forgot. But basically, we created 2 routes. One in the API folder and an identical one in the pages directory. And both are simple handlers. And Next.js was immediately blowing up because you cannot export handlers from pages, because it expects rect components. So instead, what's going on, what we're going to look now, take a look now to, is in your browser bar, visit /API and then / I think it was called my get handler, right? Bam, and we see the actual JSON that we are returning, because the browser can not only translate HTML and display it, it can also display JSON. Obviously, the styling is pretty poor, and you wouldn't use an app that looks like this. I just wanted to show you the difference, basically, between the API routes in the pages directory, which are literal API routes in the sense that they're like REST API routes, how you might know them from something like Express, and the React pages that are getting converted into HTML so you can use it meaningfully as a user. Exactly. And if you change the message into hello world, then so Leon in the background changed the data that we're sending to hello world from HW, and now we see it here. Yeah, that's just what I wanted to show you, so you really get the feeling, okay, this is an actual API route.
But it's still in the API folder, right? Can I put it in a different folder?
As long as it's inside of the API folder, yeah. But the reason the Next.js app was blowing up was because if you put a handler into basically outside of the API folder, then Next.js is blowing up because it's not a React component that it's getting back.
Okay, let me check real quick if I can create a new folder in the API folder. I call it nest, and then I switch the file there. as you can see, I made a subfolder here, and now we can check again.
The only thing that you now have to take care of is obviously you don't want to visit slash API slash myGetHandler. You need to visit slash API slash nest slash myGetHandler, which we can't see because we cannot see your browser bar, but we trust that you navigate to the correct thing.
This is what happens if I go to API slash myGetHandler, but now I'll take nest slash myGetHandler. It works. Okay. So one could still argue that it's still file-based routing inside of the API route, inside of the API folder, right?
Absolutely correct. Yeah, the only distinction is anything in the API folder is a REST API route with like regular request handlers, and anything outside of the API folder is set up to be pages for your app, and the path for the page and the path for the route is simply decided by the file path.
Yes, that's I thought that's what I meant in the beginning, but yeah, I guess it's been good to test out the different ways, and let's style that stuff tomorrow.
Awesome. Then any last piece of wisdom or business that you want to share before we leave this stream behind us and go to the next one tomorrow?
Yeah, I had multiple times that I pressed buttons and instead basically went to this site and got a 404. Maybe I don't know why, but it rendered not fast enough, and then I got a 404, even though nothing changed. I didn't change anything, just refreshed and then didn't get more. Is that like some dev environment kind of quirk, or?
Definitely not. No, there must be something else going on. If the next time that happens, let me know, and then let's take a look at it together.
Okay, it's weird because it worked actually like after basically nothing changing, only refreshing. Okay, if anything like that happens, I'll let you know. All right, that's it from me today. Thank you.
Great. I mean, this is one of the wisdoms that you learn if you've been born after 1990, that plugging in and plugging out is something how you fix tech. Right? All of us have to teach it to our parents over and over again as we grew up. And if you have been born after 1990, then probably you've been told this by someone who's been born after 1990. And the same is true for programming, where sometimes just turning off your server and turning it on again fixes all of your bugs. That being said, the one thing that you should never turn off and watch till the end is this stream. And you should do so tomorrow too, because you will learn how Leon is styling his app. And that can also be very useful if you want to build your own first blog, which is an important asset to have as a programmer, because it can show potential employers all of the stuff that you develop and your interests, and can be a huge credibility boost that can be even better than a university degree, but you can build it a lot faster than getting a degree. So thanks everyone for watching. This has been day 104 of at least 200 days of code with
Leon Andersen, who will go to the gym in a moment, but just shortly, late as fuck. But my rhythms are all messed up, unfortunately anyway. So, yeah, day 4 of 100 Days of Gym and 104 of 100 Days of Code. With me, Leon, the lucky guest, and my mentor.
Alice Mill, the lucky host who has a lucky guest too. Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Bye bye. Always be styling.